Recoup. Today is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. I'm Sweets. This is Sid. This is our midweek check-in where we talk about what we've already delivered and what we want to do before the end of the week. I'll kick it off. What I have delivered is a new button to allow bulk uploads of catalogs. If you go on to chat.recoupable.com, let me see if I have that doc nearby. I think it's this CSV. You can find it by taking any ISRC from your catalog. This probably. Add. I just want to copy one. To my catalog. When you put an ISRC in and you tell it to add it to the catalog, we will augment the data. This already existed. We look it up the IRC to get the title, the artists, and anything else we can pull about the track. First, it gets my catalog. Then we now have this new tool component. So this is what I did yesterday. Adds to one song. And Sid had told me that it was challenging to add a large catalog. So what I've done is I've added this button. So then you can just select, and then it batch uploads 1,000 at a time. So this 8% is uploading 1,000. And then once it gets up to 17, that's the second 1,000. That's the maximum batch write you can do into Supabase. So we are maximizing the amount that we can write. This is 2,000, and then this is a catalog of over 10,000. So it runs through this, and then it'll update the numbers in the tool component to be able to show what was added. What I'm going into today is updating the reading side of this. So once you have the full catalog, we then want to be able to query against it. Sid pointed out yesterday, when he tries to ask a question, it's only pulling 20 songs, which is not, in a catalog of 1,000, is not enough to really make good insights. So what I'm going to be doing today is iterating in a loop. I'm going to figure out what the optimal batch size is of songs, and then I'm going to run it all in parallel against an LLM to say probably batches of 100. So in a catalog of 11,000, this was 11,000 that we just uploaded. How many would that be in batches of 100? That would be 100. I think that would be 100 batches, 111 batches. So we're going to try to run 111 queries against an LLM in parallel, each asking which of these songs is applicable. Then we have a filtered list of this overall catalog of songs which are applicable for the query. And then the second stage of the hierarchy, then, okay, in this smaller subset of the overall songs, query that to get the actual results of the prompt. I guess there's two ways I'm thinking about it. One is that very kind of defined first round, filter it down. Second round, answer the prompt. Another way to answer it is making it more of a single loop. That is, here's the total number of songs available. This is the prompt. Continue to get more songs. There's like a couple different ways we could run this, the algorithm for how it's done. I don't want to overthink it and spend too much time thinking. So I think I'll keep it with the simple approach first. And if it doesn't serve the needs, or if there's another way we can improve it, do that rather than over engineering up front. So with that, what I did yesterday is what you're looking at now. What I'm going to be working on today is making it so that I can say Nike wants a playlist for Halloween. What songs from my catalog should I send? And then making it so that this prompt is actually going to analyze all 11,000 songs in my catalog to then give me recommendations, something that would usually take a human hours or days. We want to be able to allow one single prompt and maybe a couple minutes of thinking to be able to get that response. With that, I'll toss it over to you, Sid. Any feedback on the path that I'm on? Or if not, what have you been up to?
Path is good. My question to you is what you're thinking around doing this before the catalog enhancement step. What happens if you swap those two steps? And I guess that's my big question is like, why are you doing this first and not enhancing the catalog and then running it?
what is this? The question I try to orient around is, what is the simplest thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Your blocker right now is that it is not analyzing the full catalog, and a lot of the results are empty because some of these are just instrumental tracks. Regardless of the ordering I do things, we need it to read the whole catalog. And if it reads the whole catalog, I can tell you at end of day today, Sid, it's reading the whole catalog, and you run the query, and maybe you're already getting good answers without that step. And so it might shorten the amount of time for us to be able to talk to the customer without doing this. And it might also give us more feedback on how we can do it better. We
Cool.
could do this first. What that would do is today I work on augmenting the catalog, and at the end of the day today, Sid still cannot ask the question that he asked yesterday because it's only going to return 20 results, and those 20 results are still not going to have info because they're likely instrumental tracks. So even if we do that augmentation, those 20 tracks that you're getting are not going to be impacted from. So from Sid's perspective, nothing happened today. If I start with showing you the full catalog first, then if I'm adding in more info, it's only going to get better, but you're already getting results that are getting the entire picture in your response.
Understood. That's cool.
Do you, after hearing that, do you recommend that I switch and do augmenting of the catalog first?
Nope. Makes perfect sense. Cool. Awesome. On my end, I shipped, or I updated the PR based on your recommendations. It's ready for your review. Fingers crossed. And like this emoji feeling. The new process that I'm doing, and based on the practice of what you said, write drunk, edit sober, I'm shipping things to get them to where I want to work on them, or to where they work to the user's perspective, regardless of what the code looks like. Then I'm running it through a list everything we've committed on this PR in Scratchpad with tasks, with checkboxes, and then then saying, go through each one of these and make sure it's following this one principle. So it's not like, here's 5 principles, make sure and here's the entire PR, go do it. It's like more focused on what a human would do. One PR or one file, one principle. Is it following it? If yes, check, next thing. And that's kind of been the process for this PR. It is agonizing because I am like, this shit works. Why can't we get it out of the customer? And like, so what I'm realizing is this is that like, write drunk, edit sober. Like, sure, you can ship something in a day, but then like you need that extra day to, or hopefully we shorten that time, but like to get to a place where it's also follows all of the principles. So I hopefully this round will have solved that problem, and I can continue to follow this practice for all PRs. I have a couple other PRs open, one PR open, which is, I'm sorry, I have a second PR open, which is the Composio one, much smaller, 300. So I don't know if I'm going to go back and do that one. I'd like to get your thoughts on yeah, I should, I guess. But the other one I'm working on, which I'll show you right now, because why not? Enter screen is can you see my screen?
Sir, I see your screen.
Okay, cool. So the problem was that when trying to get social media data for like up-to-date social media data, the LLM continued to respond a lot of the times with, I'm not connected to the API. I need to be connected. You need to connect your Twitter, blah, blah, blah. We don't want that to happen. And when I realized when I tried it with doing Perplexity web search, it wasn't, it was searching web search is great because it's searching the web for queries, but it's not going to the exact domain that I'm looking for and pulling the data. So I've implemented a browser, a headless browser into the platform. I'm using Stagehand and Browserbase. It's already in. This is an open source framework. And right now, where is it? I'm still working to get on this, but let's go like this and say use browser extract to get fat beats TikTok followers. All right, fingers crossed, because I didn't spell this right, and it's probably didn't give them the correct thing. All right, but what it does, it goes into a browser. What I'm trying to fix now is we have 4 browser tools: extract, observe, use, and agent. I'm realizing that the agent is probably the one we want to use more often, because it kind of encapsulates all of the other 3 in it. Like, so it did it. It was able to go to TikTok. It took a screenshot to show the user what's it seeing. I want to try to get this screenshot up front, but that would require 2 tool calls. So there's like a lot of like little user experience things that I'm getting, and like making sure it goes to the right fat beats, obviously, because maybe we just had the wrong one in our system. But it can go to TikTok. I'm still struggling with IG and it getting past the IG paywall or the IG login stuff, which is where the agent was able to do that. But what I'm running into with agent is like showing the agent, like showing the browser live while it does its thing is like the blocker that I'm currently trying to get past right now. Like right now it's saying the browser operations failed, but on my front end, oh god damn it.
There we go. Nice.
Man. Fuck.
The time is 11, just hit 12 minutes, so 11:50.
I was so close, man. All right.
Right after you spent all day the last time I was sharing my screen telling me stop sharing.
Jesus Christ. All right. Now I'm just like done showing you anything.
Now I'm just turned off by the whole experience.
Hopefully last time it was too pixelated to see, so although it looks clearer now, so we'll see. But anyways, yeah, I'm working on that. And hopefully if we can get that shipped out, if I can get that shipped out today and you approve the code, then we will have Perplexity API web search doing much better searches. We'll have a browser that can go to specific websites and pull information if search doesn't give us good results. And so a lot of those queries or a lot of the evals that you're running, will hopefully these things will be able to be improved. If we're able to, I think the second half of the week is going to be me making sure the agent uses the right tools for the right thing. Because sometimes it's calling browser, sometimes it's calling search, and like figuring out how do we tell it when and where for like very specific use cases. Other than that, customer calls and just back and forth with customers this week.
Why browser base or a browser tool over Composio's Instagram and TikTok toolset?
Because Composio's Instagram and TikTok toolsets require the user to sign in and OAuth. And if they don't OAuth, then they don't get the data back. And what we've experienced previously with YouTube said not everybody has the time or energy to OAuth. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I also am like, I feel like Composio is going to require a little bit more thinking when it comes to how does a user OAuth themselves on their TikTok account versus how does like if they have an artist TikTok, are they OAuthing on the artist side too? And then how does the LLM know which TikTok to use when grabbing data? You know, that's the key, because what I don't want to happen is user signs in with their TikTok, but then asks for their artist's backend data, which they won't get, but they sign in with TikTok. And so they'll be confused. Right. And that's why I chose browser instead of Composio.
Another element, I like that you're considering either on the OAuth side, either the manager or the artist themselves. I could be wrong here. So asking it as a question, is there an option for us to provide a token from those services so we don't need the OAuth? We provide the token so that we get API results it might not be as fine-grained as if an artist logs in with OAuth. Would we be able to get those results on Instagram or TikTok, providing our own token, going in and getting a token, adding that, no sign in, just if they query, getting that? I don't know if that's available. Have you considered that option of providing a token and not doing OAuth for now because of the reasons that you said, but using a Composio tool where we provide a key to get some of those tools?
That's a great question. And I did think about that and decided, just going back to what you had mentioned previously, that seemed like the heavier lift of like, then we need, like, we need to spin up multiple recoupable tokens? What happens if 50 users are using recoupable tokens? Will like TikTok like start to rate limit what we're able to do? Like, how does that scale, I guess, was my thought. And that's why I chose browser first, because it was just like, actually I chose browser because it was like, how do I as a human go to get this data manually? And like, I followed my workflow. I go to the website, I read it with my eyes. I then put that into an Excel spreadsheet, and I do that manually. Like, so if we could just replicate the human process first, then we could iterate on the human process after. And I think that's what was missing in a lot of these workflows, like especially the eval stuff, was like, we're not able to currently replicate a human process because we don't have a headless browser to go and do what a human does. So yeah, I know we're over time, but I appreciate you asking the questions. And I appreciate you working on catalog, because it's an important layer to this.
Stay tuned. We have a special episode tomorrow, nothing on Friday. So tomorrow we'll be back with our hour-long episode.